which then in turn creates negative manifestations. And people can sense that energy off of you, so they will have a lesser experience of who you are. They won't feel as good around you, and your experience of life will be worse. So constantly you have to center yourself in that compassion. And you can still experience feelings, you just notice them. You don't attach yourself to them. And you're observing the feelings. And this doesn't mean that you're going to have no ego, no personality. You can't laugh, you can't joke, you can't cry. You can't punch someone in the face. You can still do all of that. But it'd be coming from a place of compassion. So, and coming from a place of compassion, there are so many fucking fake spiritual people out there who are spiritual narcissists pretending to be compassionate. It's like, oh, I can't do that. That's low vibration. They'll like be fake happy, fake compassionate. Sometimes it's in your best interest to express your negative emotion towards somebody. But it's not because you want to hurt them, but because you're living your authentic self. You are not holding anything back. You're not creating any blockages, which would then accrue, build up, and create conditioning. And so all this is a large part of this, or a lot of it is coming back to your child self, discovering who you truly are. And there's a lot of fake spiritual people out there which ruin the image of spirituality. And a lot of people have a bad idea of what love even is, compassion. There's a spiritual love and there's a personal love. It's two different things. This personal love is like an attachment, and the spiritual love is just sitting in love with no object, just being in the state of love for all, and anybody can be a part of that. And it also involves tough love. So you can, have the hard conversations with people. Just because you have a hard conversation with somebody and make them cry, that doesn't mean it's bad. Sometimes they have to go through that. And you're not doing it out of something mean. You're doing it out of compassion because they need to hear it, or something needs to happen. And I'm still trying to understand this, but the enlightened beings, they're perfect mirrors. They reflect other people perfectly. And I'm still trying to understand how that works. But how that would work is like an enlightened person. So spirituality, people talk about non-violence. Non-violence is a practice to develop spiritually, but an enlightened person can still be involved in violence. Not because they want to hurt somebody, but like, you can still punch somebody in the face. You can still like aggressively, like in Ram Dass's story, his guru, like throw people out of the temple. And so I'm just going to go on with the script. Let's see. So any moment you're doing something that's out of conscious intention to hurt somebody, that's ignorant, you're choosing to be petty, you're choosing to ignore something, you're choosing to be negative, you could say that's creating bad karma. You're creating a negative manifestation. You are projecting negative energy. And with the law of attraction, the energy manifests back. And if you don't want to think about the law of attraction, it's like people can feel that. And then you're putting this negative energy out there. The other person feels the negative energy. The energy goes into them a little bit. They're feeling a little bit worse. And then that goes on a domino effect. So you can still feel angry. You can still feel these feelings. But you have to center yourself in the soul constantly. So I wrote an example in here. People like to get the idea if somebody hurts your family, shouldn't you want to kill that person? No, you don't want to. You don't kill them because you hate them. But if you defend yourself and your family, you're not doing it because you want to hurt the person. You're doing it because you want to defend your family. It's two different things. And in regards to experiencing emotions, it doesn't mean you ignore your emotions either. You can still work to make your life better. You can still work through the ego and all that. But there's a different perspective with it. And in regards to all of this, you still have to fulfill your own needs. Like if you have a lot of activity hormones like Ajahn describes as part of your spiritual practice, you need to be exercising, putting yourself into the circumstances and environments where you can be fulfilled, where you do what you need to do as a person every day. Like, for me, I need to play the drums. I need to exercise. I need to be in nature. Everybody needs to be in nature, really. And like I said with astrology, like, the enlightened person, it's finding who you truly are and living in a way that is in perfect harmony with that from a state of compassion. So, to do something you know is wrong is to sin. And so in the perspective of the primal diet, if you believe that raw food is healthy and cooked food is harmful, if you eat cooked food, you are sinning. You're creating more karma. You're putting poison in your body. It's hedonistic. It's toxic. So, along with your meditations, you also have to exercise, eat healthy, have a good schedule, be in a good environment, avoid EMF, ground, tan, spend time in nature, be around like-minded people who are also healthy, and all of that. So, and if you're not doing all that, you're probably not going to have good meditations anyway. You have to do everything. And so, how I see karma is the level of development of your soul. The level of development of your soul. The level of development of your soul. Remember what the soul is. It's the energy. It's the perception. It's the witness. What level are you seeing everything at? What level are you experiencing everything? The atmosphere of your life. What does your life feel like? What is the vibe of your life? That's the level of your soul. What are you going through in your life? What problems do you have? What do you worry about? What are your needs? That is where your soul is. What experiences are you attracting into your life? What kind of people are you attracting to your life? What kind of people like you? What kind of people do you like? What kind of people are you tending to run into? What mistakes are you making repeatedly? What is reoccurring in your life? That's manifestation based off of your soul. That's your karma, the level of your soul. And so developing your karma is developing your soul, which in turn automatically changes the experiences you have in your life. You're working through different karma. So, like I said, the soul is the energy that animates your body. It's like the electricity of your body. People can feel that, like I said earlier. And people can feel it, and also the spiritual laws of physics of the world. The energy affects the environment, affects the things that come into your life, the things that happen, the situations, the occurrences of your life. There's another word I was looking for, but your soul is the energy people feel off of you. And so one motivation for the spiritual development is like, when I'm around people, I want people to automatically have realizations and epiphanies and new life perspectives and be filled with inspiration and excitement just by being around me. They can feel that there's something in me that they want themselves, and I want that power. And when people are with me, they want the same, and they work to do it at the same time as me. And when I'm with people who are working towards the same energy, I get more of the energy because I get the energy from them. They get the energy from me. I plant the seeds, or even find people who are already doing it, and then they're working through their own spiritual development. And because they will be beacons of this energy, they will be machines. They'll be generating this spiritual energy, and by me being around them, I will be in an environment that has more of it. So I will have more of these experiences. I will have more joy in my life. I have all of that. So soul development, people can feel it. You can feel when somebody's special, when somebody's different. You can feel when somebody's depressed, when somebody's weird. You can feel when somebody's bad. Most people have never met somebody who's legitimately on a high spiritual level. It's not common. And there's so much bad advice in the spiritual community, so many bad ideas that causes people to not believe it's real. I hate hearing people want to be spiritual, but because they're insecure, because whatever, they'll talk about saying, they say woo-hoo or woo-hoo, whatever. It's like, oh, it's not woo-hoo, it's real. No, woo-hoo is real. It just has a bad rep because there's fake spiritual narcissists, there's fake loving people, and there's people who they're doing it for the image. They're doing it for the culture. They're not doing it for internal. They're not doing it for the soul development. They're not doing it for the right reasons, and they're not even doing it. They're pretending to live the life that you would live if you did it without doing it. They pretend to be compassionate. It should come naturally. Yes, you need to put an effort to be better, but the effort goes into the exercises, which then indirectly, automatically causes you to be different. It's like pretending to walk around with big muscles when you don't have big muscles. No, go to the gym and then you have big muscles, and then you already start walking around with big muscles because you put in the work in the gym. So a lot of these people pretending to be loving and compassionate when they've never done the exercises. And yeah, so, and a lot of people read about spirituality, they think, but they don't apply spirituality. And by that I mean going to the gym with the soul, putting in the work to develop the soul. And okay, I'll just go back into the script. Okay, I was talking about the law of attraction, the experiences you have in your life, what you manifest. It's not only on a logical, materialistic level that as you change as a person, your experiences change, also changes on a spiritual level, automatically manifests differently. And it gets to the point when you start noticing these things happening, it's statistically impossible for so many of these things to happen in your life that it's undeniable that it's a spiritual occurrence. So one thing that is a massive benefit to people in regards to their spiritual development and understanding is taking psychedelics. And how I see spiritual experiences, and when I say spiritual experience, at least right now in this context, I'm referring to powerful, energetic experiences. You feel the energy in you. Most people have never had a spiritual experience. They have no idea what it's like. So that they think it's not real somehow. Just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean it's not real. When you experience it, it's so undeniable. You can have incredibly powerful, even sober. But psychedelics make it happen instantly. So you have the energy experience within yourself. You could go. There's layers of your mind that you don't know exist. There's things that you could go through, like just like you have dreams. There's other things that can also happen that are similar to dreams, but it's like you start to see the mechanisms of your mind, and so you can have powerful realizations, sudden epiphanies, visions. You could see the future, and then 6 months go by, and that thing you saw 6 months ago happened. Or like you meet somebody and you can see something that's happened to them, or you just understand they are the way they are because you can see it. You understand, and like it's intuition. And so these experiences are facilitated by what I have coined to be. I've never heard anybody else ever say this word: spiritual neurotransmitters, compounds like DMT in the brain, many other compounds not yet known to science that act like radio transmitters that connect to the energy of the universe, allowing you to be capable of experiencing these energies. You can't listen to the radio without a radio. You can't have spiritual experiences without spiritual neurotransmitters. So my definition of an atheist is somebody who's incapable of producing spiritual neurotransmitters. So that is almost everybody. You might believe in God because logically it makes sense, but you've never experienced God. You've never experienced spirituality. So on a level, you're still unawakened. Just because you believe in God or all that, the spiritual stuff, on this definition doesn't mean you haven't had the spiritual awakening. The spiritual awakening is like, boom, spiritual neurotransmitters. Like you see it, you experience it. So you can notice in your life, you can notice the statistically impossible things happening, and you can see how it's spiritual and how it ties in without having the spiritual neurotransmitters. The spiritual neurotransmitters makes you have the experiences within yourself. And so when you take... So like, what's an example of a spiritual neurotransmitter? DMT. It's produced in the brain naturally. And there's many other compounds that are not yet known to science that facilitate these experiences. And so these neurotransmitters produce the energy within the body, but it also allows you to see the energy that's already around you. So spiritual development makes you more capable of sensing these energies. It makes you produce these neurotransmitters. And so what psychedelics essentially do is flood your brain with large amounts of spiritual neurotransmitters all at once, immediately, right now. So you can immediately have a spiritual experience. These experiences show you what's possible, and it also acts as grist for the mill. It shows you where you're not. When you take acid, it shows you where you're supposed to be. Like, it makes you psychic, intuitive, perfect reflexes. Like, everything is so clear. It's like when you take LSD, acid, same thing. It shows you where you're supposed to be. It shows you where you're not, which acts as grist for the mill. It shows you what you should be working towards. And it's an inspiration. And so it allows you to hone your abilities. It helps you to see how you can do things better. Take acid, go play the drums. You realize that what's the word? I need to suck an egg. Forgot the fucking word. The small details, intricacies of like the technique. You see the things that you never noticed. That might take 13 years of playing before you suddenly realize it. You can realize it now if you take acid, or like meditation. You take acid, it's like, oh, I didn't realize that like the mind operates like this, or like you can like do anything, like take acid and go walk down the street, and you notice like how your arms sway and how the balance works and how you step with the foot and everything, and you can notice these new things. So like, and you can reflect on that and use that for your own development. So I've had many amazing experiences taking acid. It's been my favorite thing in the world, and it's completely changed my life. And I probably wouldn't be interested. I might not be interested in health right now if I didn't take it. I probably would be, but it's shown me what's possible with spirituality, and it's acted as a major motivation for me. And that's going to be for another video. But I've had many amazing experiences, but I've also had some very, very, very bad experiences. I had an experience 2020 where I took it irresponsibly, and by that, I got it from a new person. And I took a large amount. When you get it from a new person, you should take a small amount to test it. I took a large amount, and it ended up being really strong. And long story short, I thought I was in the Matrix and that the agents were going to come wake me up. So I basically ran away with a gallon of ground beef in a jar and my milk, because I was like, oh, I have to survive. I have to like run away. I thought like it's like Hunger Games type shit. It's like, let me grab all my necessities and run away. I ended up somehow getting naked, ran through a golf course naked, and I thought the cops were the agents of the Matrix, and the cops tased me. They handcuffed me. And when they handcuffed me, I thought they were vaccinating me. And then I woke up in the hospital all dazed on their medicine. And basically, this is a time for another video. That's for another video. But I had PTSD. I was traumatized. I had flashbacks for a while. It was horrible. And it fucked me up for years, really. And it's definitely impacted who I am today. But I've had many amazing experiences, and I've had some really, really bad experiences. And because I've had good and bad, it gives me the credibility to speak on it because I have experience. So I've had the good and I've had the bad. There's been times where I think psychedelics are bad. I was completely against them. Don't take them. And then it's like I've been on and off of it enough to where I have come back to it to believe that to come to the belief that I think it's good. I believe it's good if used responsibly. And there's some people who should never take them. But there's a lot of people who aren't taking them who would greatly benefit from taking them. And I would like to teach people how to take them responsibly, and only take them if you're doing it legally and you're not getting publicly intoxicated, and you do your research and you prepare adequately and you're responsible, and again, you do it legally and you're of age and all that. I'm going to make a guide soon. So, as you develop spiritually, it's like the water of your mind becomes more still. And you notice the true nature of how it all is. How the world is, how you are, how everything works. And when your mind is more still, when the water is more still, you can see clearly through it with what actually is, without all the thoughts, waves coming through. And when you take a psychedelic, like, you can get there immediately. That's largely what the benefit is. It's like the conditioning, the habits you have, the prejudice you have. You can temporarily experience a clean slate where you can have an unbiased perspective. But if you take them irresponsibly and stuff, like, it can make you go psychotic. You can be delusional. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it can be bad if it's done irresponsibly. And most people have no idea how to take it responsibly. And there's people who have taken lots of psychedelics who still can't even explain it to others. And I'm going to explain it very clearly soon, what you should know with how to take them and what they actually do, which I've never really heard anybody explain the way I explain it, which is going to be very helpful for you to know. So through the daily practice, also utilizing psychedelics if you want, which helps the practice. It's almost like taking steroids and going to the gym. So you will gain more peace in your life, more clarity, you have less anxiety, you have more compassion. And so spiritual development is what gives you true satisfaction and fulfillment in your life. You begin to have more clarity in every situation. You begin to have more clarity in every situation in your life. Your consciousness will be operating on a much more positive, happy, compassionate, clear level. Your psyche will be able to process the energies of your environment, situations, circumstances, interactions with people, to where you can easily see the true nature of it all without having the ignorance, without having to guess. You just know. You can sense it. The energy radiating off their body. When you have a thought, everything is energy. Your thoughts are energy, and it goes beyond the body. And when you're with somebody, they could say something. It might not be true, but you know, you can sense the energy. And your brain, your consciousness can decode that energy, and intuitively you understand the truth. They don't even have to say anything. They can think something. And the thought has energy, which radiates beyond the body. And if you're spiritually in tune enough, you can know what they're thinking without them saying anything, because you can decode the energy, because it mixes in your aura. And it can even happen on the other side of the world. So an enlightened person technically knows everything. But the weird thing is, not every enlightened person eats raw meat. But that doesn't mean raw meat's not perfect, which was complicated for me to think about for a while. But it's just not in their life path to talk about it or to eat it sometimes, because it distracts from the other things they're doing. I'm not saying that's an excuse for you not to do it, because you know better. These people, they haven't been exposed to the information. And so even if you're enlightened, you're still in a human body. You're still bound to some things in reality. You're still bound to some physical knowledge, you know. And it's complicated, it's confusing. To understand these people, you can't understand them from our perspective. I'm going to make more videos about this soon. So without the spiritual development, your life is purely hedonistic, pleasure-based. Like, what's the purpose? You know? Many spiritual people believe the purpose of life is to experience love, to come to love. And like the world is like a big energetic filter. Every soul is an energy, and we're all going life to life, growing as souls, and the universe is just like a big clock of energy, and it's, you know. So some people say that the experience of this world is the result of God having the idea, what would it be like to not know that I'm me? And then this world, poof, spawned into existence, and now we're experiencing that idea of what it would be like to not be God, which is just an illusion. And it's up to us to come back to the true nature. Okay, I hope you guys found value in this, and I'll be making more spiritual videos soon.
Welcome to the Huberman Lab podcast, where we discuss science and science-based tools for everyday life. I'm Andrew Huberman, and I'm a professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology